and without changing it too much. I mean, there's not much you can do to change a browser, or you don't want to change it too much, because one of the best things about Google in the past, I know from browsers that came out a long time ago, is they had so much junk on a browser window where back in the old days when they used to have tons of browsers, there was all kinds of stuff on a browser. And that's one of the things that was appealing about Chrome. It was just clean, white, boom, you get what you want. But at least they're giving an option there now. What I kind of like too is it lets you do dark mode. So if you're like me, who is teaching people and showing stuff, I don't have to have that bright screen in my glasses and things like that. So that's one of the things about Chrome, giving that opportunity to have that darker background is kind of neat, kind of cool. I like that. Hello, gang. Hey, Richard, Andrew, welcome. So also I wanted to see what your thoughts are. So that's the Chrome browser. Like I said, give me your opinions of the Chrome browser and how you use it and what you, whether you like the new one or not, or if it's not that much of a difference, just, let me know that too. And anybody that's rewatching this later can leave those same kind of comments. Let's see. I'm just curious. I know last week I touched on Hangouts just because I was curious about that, because I have friends that use it, and that's kind of where I like to have my messages going, because I can do it on the computer and the phone. Curious what, if you use these, and what your thoughts are on these. So like, do you use Twitter? Do you use Snapchat? Do you use Instagram? And when I say use, I mean actually use it. Like it's something that you go to and use, whether you have a following there or elsewhere and that kind of, or Facebook Messenger. Those are the ones. So Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat. So let me know in the comments when you rewatch this or whatever. Just curious to see what everyone uses. I know it's funny because my wife does not use Twitter. I use Twitter somewhat, not totally, and not every day for sure. I don't look at it every day. I've gotten to use Instagram quite a bit because I look on there and check it out. And a lot of times when people go live, one thing I don't like about Instagram, and you tell me if this is the same for you guys, when one of my friends goes live, I usually don't see it till after about 10 minutes. So they have to be on a pretty long time for me to get that on my phone or that notification. I don't know how that works for you guys, but let me know. I'm just curious, anybody that does that. Now, because a lot of people, there are tons and billions and millions of people on Facebook, I'm sure Facebook Messenger is very popular with a lot of people. I personally don't have it on my phone. Yes, I have it when I open up my Facebook on my computer, then I have it there, but that's it. I don't really use Messenger as it is. So I'm real curious to see all the apps that you have and use. Like my wife got on Snapchat because my kids were putting stuff on Snapchat. And I guess that's their generation is now using that. So she got Snapchat just so she could see some photos and things that they were doing and stuff like that. I personally don't use it. I don't use Facebook. I don't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. I don't have Snapchat. I do have Instagram just as of recent, and I have Twitter. So I'm real curious what everybody else has out there, and who's the audience that you use or have that you chat with or use it for. Just curious, just to see. Because I know more and more they're getting popular. I know some of them are, phone only, like Instagram's only on your phone. You can see somebody's Instagram page, but and see it online, but you can't respond or anything like that because it's all done through the phone. Snapchat, I assume, is the same. I don't know that because I don't have one. But I'm real curious. Just to see what is appealing to you in those things. You know, I mentioned last week about the Allo, how much I loved Allo and it uses Assistant and all that kind of stuff. But it's like Richard said last week. No, I mean, no one else is on. It doesn't really matter, you know. So, I mean, there's like 6 to 7 people that I use my Allo with. So, again, I don't want to drag into that one. I want to get into some of these other ones and see what your thoughts are and why you use that app. What's appealing to you in that other app and stuff. So, just give me your thoughts and feedback. Anybody that rewatches this later can also leave comments so we can add that to the list. I love getting this stuff because I love the responses coming up. Let's see. Richard says, on my computer, Michael is frozen. It's not being recorded. Really? Yeah, hit refresh. Okay, there. Now he's back. Okay. Yeah, it's probably just something on your end, hopefully, because I do see people still commenting and responding. John says, and thank you, John, for your comments on the YouTube video afterward. Hopefully I answered a lot of your stuff. And if I didn't, maybe we can answer it today or you can bring it up. That'd be fine. He says he uses it for Facebook, for friends and various groups. Yeah. I mean, I get that. I totally understand that. Again, I do that when I'm online, but I don't use it on my phone. I don't want those messages. It's just because I would get inundated with all that, I think. And Richard says mostly family on Facebook. There you go. Snapchat isn't so good for Android. Oh, really? Okay. So that's interesting to know, Richard Clarkson. And again, I don't use it. And my wife has an iPhone and she does. So that might go hand in hand there. And John says Snapchat mainly for my daughter. There you go. And I think a lot of people do that, especially us as parents. That's what we use it for. We use it for our kids and things like that. Keenan says, who will be on Plusword? I will love to be one of the guests. Keenan, thank you. Appreciate that. I have it filled up for this week. We will wait some years before we make that move. But if you want to reach out to me and talk to me about that specifically, I'm on Hangouts. Just look for my logo and I'm Michael Daniels. So you'll be able to find me on there and I can reach out and I can chat with you personally about that kind of stuff. Keenan says Facebook is for family connections. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think that's one of the biggest things. John says groups, McCullough chainsaws, lawn boy mowers. That's interesting. That's very cool. I like that idea, actually. So where you can reach out to those, I guess that's reaching out to those specific if you have those particular items, you can reach out to those particular people, almost like a help center kind of thing, an instant help center kind of thing. If that's what you mean by that, let me know if it is or not, but that's kind of cool. Richard says, now you can tell everyone you can search for a color and keep, and it will show all notes for the color you select on the phone. Android for me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. We learned that in our community. I know it's on Android only. It's not on computer. But Richard, that was one of the tips that I showed. But it wouldn't work on my Pixel book when I was trying to explain that. So thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Yeah, John says exactly on that. Thanks. And he says, by the way, I got a silent YouTube notification for this. Interesting, a silent one, huh? Now, do you normally get a non-silent one or a notification that's different? I'm real curious on that because I know on YouTube lately, all of mine are silent, but I have notifications turned, but no, I have other notifications turned off. I don't have that turned off. I don't know why YouTube, and maybe it's trying not to be obtrusive, which I'm good. I'm good with that. No beep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, usually it makes a sound. I got you. Yeah, and mine doesn't. Mine never has. I don't know why YouTube is not audible. It's just a silent. So Richard got it in his email. That's cool. So if you go, I wonder where I forget where you set all that up. I think it's about me, about aboutme.google.com. Control what people see about you. No, that's more about me. I'm trying to think of where that is, where you can go and set your notifications. Like, let's see. Let me just try real quick. I don't mean to stall here, because that's all your Google notifications, anything. So, I know you can do it there. Oh, my account at .google.com, maybe. Yeah, myaccount.com. Yeah, there it is. Manage my activity. I can do all kinds of preferences. I'm pretty sure that's where it is. myaccount.google.com. Browser settings, Andrew thought. It's in settings, I believe. Hello, dear Myrtle. How are you? Good to see you. Also got the notifications in email on my phone. Interesting. Okay, so that's cool. I mean, I some things I love to have that too. I love to have my notifications come to my email, but I get so many emails, like with work and everything else, that I get inundated with all these notifications coming in. But some things I just want to be alerted about. So a lot of times I'll put those things. So the thing is what I'm trying to figure out here is, I wonder if there's a way to turn on like audible notifications for specific things, like, and it's probably not individual either. It's probably all directed at like all YouTube or all Google Plus or all, something like that. I know on the Google Plus side, in communities, specific communities, you can get notifications, individual communities, but I don't think you can do that with individual channels. I think it's either notifications, you get all notifications, or notifications. But I'm trying to find, and that'll be something that I research. I'll make sure and go back and check this. So, set mail filter for is live, and that will only get YouTube email notification. Interesting. Okay, never thought about that. So that's really interesting. It's really cool. So today's topic basically is finding out what other app you use for communication. Like I was talking about Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook Messenger. So those are the things. Let's see. Yep. Let's see here. Let's see. Trying to look at some of the other stuff that I had written down and was looking at. Okay, got it. Good stuff. All right, and okay. So let's get back to some of these comments. You got your Hangouts. I never heard of set mail filter. Yeah, I think that's I've never heard of setting within, in Gmail, I think is what Andrew's talking about, John. He's talking about in Gmail, setting up a filter specifically for those particular keywords. Facebook Messenger too. And Mert says, I like the idea. Which idea? I keep talking in circles, so I'm not sure which idea you're talking about, but it's probably the one that I'm talking about, trying to find out which ones have specific things, or maybe you're talking about the YouTube channel, specific YouTube channel that I want to get an email from versus just a ping or something like that. Andrew says, I have used CSS, Cherokee Smoke Signals. There you go. Dear Mert says, cousin Russ and I use Facebook private messenger on our smartphones all the time. Yeah, see, exactly. So you find those people that only have certain apps or certain things like that, and a lot of times that's what we go with just to make it easier. And the other thing, Facebook Messenger, just like Hangouts, in my opinion, it can be on your phone and your computer, so it's always kind of visible or right near you when you see it. That's a nice thing. And John says, I still have never heard of that. I wish I could screen share because I'd show you right now. It's really cool. It's a cool thing to do. I do. There's a lot of filters that I do, and that I actually filter and send to a specific label. That's my way of organization. People that know me know that I'm fairly organized with a lot of stuff that I do. I mean, just looking at my Google Keep and see how that's color coded and different things like that. So I use that in Gmail all the time, just to skip the inbox and go straight to a certain label. Then I can get to that thing whenever I need to. Pretty cool. It's really quite nice. Dear says the idea of a specific sound notification. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I mean, we can do that with our ringtones, right? We do that with different ringtones. I think that'd be kind of cool to have a specific sound notification if, let's say I follow, just for example, you, dear Mert, and I wanted to get a specific ringtone every time that you get live on YouTube, or maybe even when you come in, or, add something in the community or something like that. It'd be neat to get a specific ringtone for that particular thing. Sheila says, don't we set our notifications when we subscribe to each channel? You set the subscription, you set your notifications when you click the bell, when you subscribe on YouTube, but it has no identifier of whether that's by email, whether that's, a ding, any of that kind of stuff. I don't think any of that's controlled there. All it is on or off, Ms. Sheila. I think that answers what you're saying. Facebook personal messenger, I receive notification from all folks, but with the preview, I can see if Russ or someone else has decided whether to take advantage. Yeah, no, that's true. That it is kind of nice. They did pretty well. They do pretty well with that for sure. What I'd like to be able to do, Andrew says, to get different YouTube notifications from live events and uploads. That's a great point too. Yeah, that would be a cool thing too, to distinguish between, hey, this is a live event, here's a ringtone for that, or somebody just uploaded something, get a ringtone for that. That would be interesting to get that, like an audible notification. That'd be interesting. You know what? That's a good one to send feedback. You guys send feedback. I know I've said this forever and nobody really believes this, or believes that not every single one. Do you know that every single feedback, I don't know about YouTube, but I know Chrome. I know Hangout. I know a lot of other Google products. Every single feedback is read. And most of that, I would say 99% of that is a human being reading that feedback, not AI. They're trying to implement AI to do it, but it has not done well and not successful. I didn't know if you knew that. And that might be saying something I'm not supposed to say, but I'm going to tell you right now. Feedback is so important to me. Anybody that knows me, when I first started tinkering with tech, the first show was on feedback and how to give feedback. Feedback is so important. To me, it's so important to leave feedback because it's a squeaky wheel. If you have 100 people say this, something might get done. If you have 100,000 people say it, something probably will get done. If you have 1 million people saying that there's an issue or this is something they'd like to see, you know what? Something gets done. So that's the change that you have in the idea there. And I guess I need to be a little bit honored to grow my vocabulary. Show to Zoom after. Okay. I think Google changed that themselves. Bell notification. Yeah, you may be right there. Pardon the caption, a new keyboard. Yeah, I love that idea, Andrew. I think that's one that you should definitely send as feedback. Yeah, you might be right. Google changed that themselves. They very well might have. Sheila, I won't comment on apps I don't use because I don't want to embarrass you. Like, oh, you know how I get. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true. No worries. I mean, you don't have to tell me. I'm just trying to get some ideas of what people use and do. I'd like the distinguishing between live events and uploads. I got a live event notice for this event here. Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got it. Andrew says, what I like is that you can see what past feedback you've sent. Yeah, that's very true. Richard says, I want to know why so many people are getting letters from Google about spamming, etc. Doesn't specify what the spam is. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about or where it's related to. So, and then let's see. Keenan says, fun fact, Canadians can't use PayPal. Okay, sorry about that. And I'm sure there's other things too. I know I have a friend of mine who I've ordered some Amazon stuff and had it sent from here because of Amazon being such a huge, I think, upcharge for Canada for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Who knows why? So there are some weird things there between those two countries, and I'm not sure why, but that's very strange. Hey, I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts are on, what was it? I had it here a second ago. Well, I lost it now. Oh, well, I guess it wasn't that important. I know I said this earlier. Those of you that got in late rather than rewatch, I will mention it again. Do you guys in the new Chrome 69? And I bet you, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on it, and if you really noticed, or is it basically the same to you? So give me that feedback on those. The other thing is too, on, what was it? This is also search. What was it? 1998, I think, is when it came out. 1998 in October, 1998. So this is would that be the 20th year? God, my math is so bad. 20th year for Google, actual Google search. So I wonder if search is going to have something. Should be interesting. Should be pretty cool. I'm real curious to see what they do. I know October 9th, that's a date that you need to put down. October 9th is when we get, they just started doing this, last year, 2 years ago? 2 years ago when they came out with the Pixel. All of the hardware stuff they start sending out, like the little, I don't even remember what it's, the clip, the little Google clip that automatically takes a picture and stuff, all that kind of stuff, that all came out. That's all starts October 9th, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, Richard says Chrome 69 is the same to me so far anyway. Me too, Richard. John says, and then Mert says Chrome 69 is the same for me, using Zoom 4 times this week and usual studying. There you go. There you go. I understood what you meant. Andrew says, I haven't noticed that much of a difference except for tab shapes and icon sizes, but then I haven't done much digging into it. I hope they come out with an affordable Pixel. Yeah, I hope they do too on October 9th. I totally agree with you on that one. I think that would be, I don't think they'll ever come out with affordable. It's just not in their vocabulary. One thing I do like about the new Chrome 69, though, that I'm going to mention is when you start to type something, like if I do something near my location, it gives me everything that I've searched for in the past on my location. So that's kind of cool. And also gives me the weather immediately. I can go right to, like, I live in Greer, South Carolina. So anything that I visited or went to or was near or came up, it just knows everything about me. It's really kind of cool because it gives me all that. I mean, it's kind of spooky, but it's kind of cool. But it also gives me that weather, so I can go to any one of those, and it actually shows me a little thing what the temperature is right now and stuff like that. So there's some cool stuff that's out there that a lot of people didn't even know about. So I don't know. We'll see. Did I skip your last two comments? Yes, because we're talking about Tinkering Tech, not Plusword right now. But as I said, I will contact you individually and talk to you, Keenan, no problem. So yes, I am skipping over certain comments. Yes. Come back with Nexus, John. I loved my Nexus. I know Miss Sheila, who's out there. She also uses the Nexus, so that's pretty cool. Affordable is subjective. Just ask Larry Page and Bill Gates. That's true. It's affordable for who, right? Is that what you're saying, Andrew? Totally get that. And Mert says, I considered the different icons, but the functionality was my concern. Now I'm good with Chrome 69. Yeah, I agree with you. Language learning software like Duolingo or Babbel. Yeah, actually Google Translate does a great job with that. Keenan, I don't know if you looked into that, but Google Translate actually does a lot of those things. And actually, Google Assistant, and is it Lens? Yeah, Lens. Google Lens is a great tool for that. I had a friend who just signed up in our community, and he's from Thailand. So he was walking around with different Thailand signs. And I had Google Lens, and I changed it to read what was written on the sign. And it actually, when I hovered over the sign, it actually showed me in English what those words were. That, to me, is incredible. Really incredible. That was really a neat thing to see. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good idea. The learning software. There was for a long time. I know when they had Google Helpouts, I actually taught Spanish on Google Helpouts. That was kind of a cool way for someone like myself could make some money if I wanted. I did mine for free, but there were people out there who could charge for like Spanish lessons or really any kind of lesson. That was one of the coolest things. It was not executed well. I think Andrew talked about this last week. It was not executed well, but I want to tell you, it was so cool for people to, I don't know. I don't think it was marketed great, but I really felt like the concept was just unbelievably awesome. Linda Hartman, hey there. How are you? How do they say Google in Thailand? That's a good question. Probably Google, because that's the way everybody knows Google. That's about it. So I'm not sure. I love the Google Translate Chrome extension, as do most of the genealogists doing research in Iceland, Norway, Greece, Germany. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It just works so well. The major trouble for Google Translate is American Southern, since there are so many regional variations. Hey, good point, and be careful with that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I know. They need like Andrew Hatchett Translate. No, I'm just kidding. Andrew knows that I'm messing with him. Google has great ideas, but can't make them all well. I don't know. You know what, Andrew? That's funny you say that. There is one app that Google has created from scratch, revised, redone, and that I absolutely love, and that's Google Photos. Hands down, they went for the gusto and got it. And simplicity, and anybody can use it. And everybody that I share an album with, they end up getting Google Photos. It's because it works. It's just one of the things. So yeah, I agree with you. And search is pretty incredible. What it can search and how it can search and what they're making it able to search. Like I said, Google Lens is getting better and better all the time. It's new. It's in its infancy, so it's tough. He says, okay, let's see. John says, here's a huge issue for me. Google Play Store keeps stopping for me on the HTC U11. Really? So it just stops? So it just quits running or won't load? Is that what you're saying? That's really an issue. I agree with you on that one. I used Google Translate while in Spain this summer. Oh, John, that's so cool. You got to tell me about that trip, because that's such a dream for me, because being able to speak Spanish, I really want to go there. My wife's like, no, we're not going there, because you're going to be yapping and I'll be sitting there by myself the whole time. She says, so we're not going. So I probably never get a chance to go, but I would love to know how that trip went and know how it worked. Did the Google Translate work well for you in what you had to get done? Got to go host a webinar. Oh, well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. We really do appreciate it. Come, Mert, you and Russ need to come on the game show. Give me a date when y'all can come on and play on the game show. We'll work that out later, but go have fun and do your webinar. John said, yes, it did work good. Good. Is Google Translate better than iTranslate? See, I don't have an iPhone, so Linda, it's kind of hard for me to give input on that. I would say, I don't know, just to be fair. Google Translate works great for me because I can use it right at work, and that is just that. It just helps instantly. It can say, here's the word, I can show that person or that person can show me. It's really cool. Really awesome. Go to the Valley of the Fallen. Okay. I can't, because like I said, I probably won't be able to because my wife won't let me, but it's all good though. I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand because she knows whenever I'm sitting there talking and I find out somebody can speak Spanish, I just go crazy just talking it because it gives me an opportunity to practice my other language. So I get that. But yeah, I would love to, I mean, I'm real curious, Linda. I don't know if you've ever tried Google Translate, but try it and give me a comparison. I would love to know how they equal or if one's better, that kind of thing. Let's see. Linda just said we have Hispanic patients and looking for easy way to communicate when there is that language barrier. Yes, I'm going to tell you, I will say this right now, that Google Translate every single time for me has worked, especially on words that I don't know, like construction words or just, body part words. I mean, that would be great for you in your business and being a nurse and all. So that would be awesome for you or whatever. I know you're not a nurse, but your husband is, but you know what I'm saying. And John says, yes, I use Translate to fill in my vocabulary while talking to our tour guide and bus driver. See, that's fantastic. And obviously it works, so that's good. Yeah, I know they put a lot into it. That's for sure. I know they put a lot of effort into making Translate as best they can. But obviously there's a lot of things that are lost in translation too, because I know this from knowing a second language. There are some things you cannot, it just won't translate. There's a awesome, her name is Super Holly on YouTube. Her name is Super Holly. She does Spanish, mostly Spanish videos. Sometimes she'll do English videos teaching Spanish, but most of the time she does Spanish videos. So English people are learning the Spanish part of it. So she talks totally in Spanish. She was raised in all over Texas, Mexico, back into Arizona, I think, and then Mexico. So she's grown up and knows both languages really well. She actually, I think, married a Spanish-speaking guy from Mexico. So, but great. She has some great videos on things that just don't translate. Like we use the word get, like I got that, or give me that, or I need to go get that. They don't have that translation. So it's real hard on which word do I use. She gives specific examples of how to get the same sentence across in that language. And it's just awesome. That's just one example. There's a bunch. There's some in Spanish that just don't translate to English. So they're like, how do I get that across? And so she does a really good job with that. Linda says you can adjust the speed of translation on iTranslate, which is very helpful. Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, Google Home works great now for 2 languages. I started using it actually to help teach myself certain words. Like I didn't know how to say bark in Spanish because I said, my dog was barking or my dog barked, and I wasn't sure how to do that. So what I did was I asked Google, and then I couldn't understand what she said. And then I asked her to say it and then spell it. And she actually spelled it out, what that word was. So then I use it in a sentence to see if it would translate back. So I said it in Spanish. And then I said, okay, here's what I said. En español, ¿cómo se dice ladrando en inglés? And then she would tell me that that's barking in English. So that was cool. I mean, it was awesome. That's the kind of stuff that I think is extremely useful, especially, and that I never even have to pull my phone up or anything. That's like Andrew mentions right there. Every hospital needs a Google Home just for the translation need. I totally agree with that. You could have one in every room, because what that would do for you, and you could get a little Google Mini that is very affordable, put that in every single room, because you can do that. You can use this translation. And just like I did, how do you, I could just say the whole thing in Spanish and ask Google to say it in English, and then that would come across the thing. That's the kind of stuff that's cool. To me, that's a really neat thing to be able to do and explain to people. Sometimes I like to do that in English, just be able to translate and see what the heck they just said. But I do. A lot of times I'll do that with big words. I'll hear a big word, not sure what it is, even for my own vocabulary, just so I can say, what does that mean? How do I spell it? We have such a cool tool at our access at any given time that I just think that that's so awesome to have that ability. Whereas we would be going back, searching in an encyclopedia for information. We'd go back and look at a dictionary. Always had an unabridged dictionary. My mom always, it was about that thick, and it was real wide. I mean, it was a huge book, and we use that all the time to go look up a word, how to spell it, and how to figure that out. This is so nice because you can say it so it can spell it, because sometimes you look up a word that didn't start with the same, you thought it was an E, but it was actually an I. That kind of thing. So that's really incredible to be able to do those kind of things where you can verbally say it. I love that kind of stuff. Andrew says they would also work in police departments, also cheaper than having interpreters. Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is, if it didn't recognize or if it translated wrong, I'd be more, in a hospital and a police station, I agree with you to get basics across. But if somebody's trying to translate, and let's just say I don't know this for any example, but if something got misinterpreted as a bad word or a word that really isn't the right word, I would be in fear of that kind of thing. So that's the only thing that could get very interesting. But I appreciate the people that have come tonight. It was 5 of you. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you had fun, learned a little bit, and always try and keep up with this kind of stuff. And I appreciate you guys coming out. We should have a guest on next week. I think actually the next 2 or 3 weeks I have somebody coming on, so we should be good. And I'll get those in the. There you go. Thumbs up and it's sticking your tongue out. Nice. All right. There you go. But you can click the thumbs up inside here while you're watching. There should be a thumbs up you can click. That is really what I want. Anybody else have anything that they want to bring up or stuff that we talked about that they want to say? Oh, you know what I was going to add? I forgot to add this one. I am going to add this at the end just for the fun of it. One last thing. Okay, so for example, Android comes with text messaging. Do you use the Android text messaging app? Like I use Textra. I'm curious what other people use for their text messaging app. Some people use WhatsApp. Most people on iPhone, I guess, use the iPhone text app, whatever that is. Real curious what you use and what you have. Just to see if you use an outside app because it gives you a little bit more. That's what I'd be real curious to hear and see what everybody uses, Google Messenger or Messages. Because, for example, like Textra, one thing that I love to do is a lot of times people ask me for a phone number. Well, I don't like to get everybody's V card because I don't want all the other stuff because maybe some of that stuff's wrong, but I just want a phone number, just a phone number. So I give a lot of times one thing that Textra does that the normal Google app doesn't do. I have to go in to the contact, copy the person's phone number, then come back and paste it in on regular Google Messages, or I can send a V card. I like to send a text of that phone number. So I usually do, it actually has an option. You can choose. Do you want to send this as a V card or text? And I always choose text. So it just puts the phone number right in there. I put the person's name and the phone number, and boom, I can send that right to somebody. So that's what I use as far as that goes for text messages. Let's see, use Google Messenger or messages. Yes, Richard says, yes, I use the text app on the phone because most everyone I know uses theirs. Right, gotcha. Well, this is like a mask. Textra is like a mask. It still uses your SMS, same as anything else, but it adds other features, which I like. I use Hangouts and email for text stuff. Yep, you don't have a phone, Andrew. You don't count. What Richard said must be Android. Yeah, Android. Or text stuff. And Richard says, in Facebook, I'll use Messenger, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just talking about your SMS, MMS messaging, your regular text messaging where somebody dials through your phone number. And that's what I use the Textra app to do that, just because of a couple extra features that it has that the regular Google Messenger or Android Messenger does not have. So that's why I use that. But I really like it. And I think Textra is available on iPhone too. So you can get it. So there'll be consistencies there as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, I know a lot of people, especially in like foreign country like India and stuff. I think WhatsApp is extremely popular. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it and that kind of stuff. So mine is the Google one. Yeah, exactly. What comes with the Google. I get it. Sounds awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I'm going to, I think I'm going to head on. Thank you, everyone, for coming and watching. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. Like I said, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I will have guests on. I will put in there every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Feel free to come on, join, chat with us just like this. This is awesome. And if you can't make it, just like John did last week, and I appreciate it, John, lots of comments after watching the video. He went back and watched the video and left some comments that I hopefully answered out there. So that was cool. Sheila says, use Allo earlier because my messages from my GMB page uses Allo. That's really cool. Google My Business. Yep, absolutely. That's fantastic. Domari Gato. There you go. There you go. I like that. Too cool. Michael, always enjoy these. Oh, before you go. Yes, Andrew. Before I go, I will wait for your reply because there's a 20 to 40 second delay. So I will wait on that. But I do appreciate everyone that comes in and joins and is a part of these. Need link to this AM daily tip in the community. This AM doesn't have one. You're probably thinking about yesterday's and it messed up. So I have to do another one, or I may just skip that one and move on to another one. So that's why you didn't see that in the community. So, yeah, that's right, John. You were asking more about VPNs, virtual private networks, and I just don't know enough about them. But those are good. Those are good questions. I hope you found out some information. Keep me posted on how that's going on that information because I just don't know enough about them. I never had to use one like with work or anything like that. So or anything. So keep me posted on how that's going. I appreciate that too. Folks, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wrap this up here. We've been on for about 45 minutes. Didn't find out anything yet. Okay, that's fine. Well, like I said, I'll try and do some research too, try and help you out. VPN, 2 Campbell soup cans and a string. Okay, there you go. I guess that's a virtual private network in its rarest form. Andrew's trying to help, but not really. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you, folks. Appreciate you guys. I will chat with you next week for sure. That's right, old school. That's right, Linda. I will see you, and let me end this thing. Anybody that is in the community wants to come in, you're always welcome to come in afterward. I will start something up, and you can welcome to come in and join me if you'd like to chat for a little bit. Anybody that is a community member can come in and do that. It's one of the benefits of the community. Feel free to join the community. Look at any of my old shows that I have a guest on. It shows you how to come in and join the community. It's $10 a month. It is a paid for community, but it's really simple. And like I said, there's a tip a day, all kinds of stuff going on in there. So come join us. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye, all.